Okay, welcome to Friday the 13th. Not that I'm superstitious or not, but yeah, I don't know if this is an auspicious day or either way, it's an exciting day for us to get together. And I thought today's theme, the tone would be set by this quote by the French mathematician Blaise Pascal. He said, "All of humanity's problems stem from our inability to sit quietly in a room alone." And I don't know if any of you have ever been on a silent meditation retreat, but I can attest to my own experiences with that. It's fascinating how just sitting quietly and doing nothing can stimulate some pretty fantastical and oftentimes overwhelming, mental processes and memories and sensory experiences. And then the idea, of course, is you just keep coming back to the reality, which is I'm just sitting here on a cushion, being quiet with a bunch of other people. And the funny thing is you look around the room and you realize everyone else who's just looks so peaceful and calm on the outside is having their own inner experience, which is filled with, yeah, all kinds of stressful, exciting, stimulating stuff. And of course, at the root of all of that is this awesome thing that sits between our ears called the brain, which is really the hub of all of these bits of data that come in through our organism. So our eyes, our skin, our ears, our nose, there's all of these nerve bundles are picking up raw data from our environment and are then sending it up from the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system, up the spine into the brain. And then the brain converts all of that into a story. And usually those stories are filled with memories or at least the flavors of past experiences, right? So in a very real way, I think we are kind of the captives of our past experiences. Like we have no real option other than to, you know, go along with how our nervous system formed and how our brain has in the past interpreted certain experiences. And boom, there we are trying to sit quietly in a room and there's all kinds of stuff spinning through our brain. Of course, what we're practicing here in large part is cultivating some self-awareness that that's happening. Even just knowing that, oh, this is what the brain does gives us a little bit of reprieve from what's wrong with me. Why do I never, all that stuff that comes up for us. So there's some intellectual knowing that contributes to it. But then at the end of the day, I think, the rubber meets the road and actually practicing it. So I thought today, keep it really simple. And the goal in today's practice is just to sit quietly. And there is an invitation for you to simply notice, become aware of all of the inputs that are coming into the body, and then how your brain transforms that into visuals and memories and other feelings and emotions that, in many ways have nothing directly to do with the idea that we're just sitting quietly right here, right now. So let's try that out. Start by closing your eyes. Closing our eyes allows us to, at least to a large extent, remove visual inputs. So we're sort of trimming down additional data that's coming in. Although if you pay close attention, even with eyes closed, you're still seeing lots of movement behind the eyelids, flashes of color, shapes, little amoeba-like things floating around. What does it mean to sit quietly? And for one, it just has to do with not moving the body, so not walking, not using our mouth to talk, not moving our hands. And yet, if we pay really close attention, there's so much movement still on the inside of our belly, certainly our lungs, heart. But sitting quietly is an invitation to simply being in a non-reactive way with the body and the mind. It raises this interesting exploration of who exactly is bearing witness. If you feel into it, you can notice that there's a part of you that is able to notice the belly and the hands and the amoebas dancing behind our eyelids. Be aware of thoughts, memories, and visuals, all just happening. In that sense, sitting quietly means just resting in awareness. And this is, I think, what Pascal was referring to. When we're in a constant state of reactivity to our thoughts and these other sensations, oftentimes it creates a lot of problems, creates a lot of action and movement. And you look at the news, some of that action and movement just, it's violent, creates more problems, more actions. Hence the benefit of just sitting quietly and alone. It's the distinction between being and doing. Being is just about existing with, noticing. Doing oftentimes refers to the reactivity or the compulsive behaviors that come from believing our thoughts or having certain memories and feeling the need to do something in reaction to them. And when we can learn how to sit quietly, it opens up the possibility for a whole other kind of intelligence and wisdom, sort of a more sober, less compulsive, less reactionary way of being, making decisions. Stillness invites equanimity and calm, sobriety. And the mind is typically quite fidgety. So the longer the silence, the longer the period of quiet, the stronger that compulsion becomes for the brain and the mind to interject and say, hey, look at me, think about this, remember that. And when that happens, you just take a calm step back and just say, oh, there it is again, brain thinking. I'm just going to continue resting in this stillness. Sometimes the Buddhists refer to this as seeking refuge in stillness or quiet. I guess refuge from what? Well, it's just the frenetic busyness of most of our thoughts and most of our actions. So I love this idea of refuge as like a home base, coming back to this vast, infinite space that is consciousness. Everything is possible from this space of quiet. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nose. Long, slow exhale. And as you exhale, imagine yourself surrendering into this infinite space of stillness. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Surrendering, relaxing, dropping into stillness. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, open your eyes. Again, noticing how quickly when we open our eyes, the mind wants to make sense of all the data that's coming in. And the truth is, this is happening all the time. And so may this be an invitation for you to remember that underneath all of the mental chatter and the emotional stuff, there's this place of quiet and solitude, and it's always accessible to us. The hard part is just remembering that it's there and taking a moment to feel into it. So hope that was helpful. Have a great weekend, everyone.